Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Last year I had made the Hollyhock romper from Studio Sadoe. I really love the pattern. She just did a recent update on the pattern, so you can go check that out. But since then, she has also released two other patterns that I have purchased and I'm very excited to try out. So in this video, we're going to try out the Foxglove Slip Dress. Super excited to try this one out and take you along the journey, giving you a walkthrough of how to make this pattern. After you've purchased the pattern, you'll be able to download it and then print off all the pages that you need, and then do the fun part of assembling everything together. Once you have that, you'll have a bunch of pattern pieces ready to use. But I'm going to tell you that before you cut out all the pattern pieces in the size that you think you are, it's best to trace the size that you think you'll be onto another piece of paper and cut that out of some scrap fabric to do a mock-up. I know it's super exciting to get your pattern and just want to go right into it, but you'll be so much happier when you try out the pattern first before cutting into your special fabric. My measurements are roughly 32-34, waist is usually 28, and hips are 39. Because I'm really only concerned about this top portion, I cut out the size medium. I'm going to be making just the top half of the garment out of some mock-up fabric. Then once I have that done, I'll be able to see where the pattern fits me, where it doesn't fit me, and what changes I need to make. For my measurements, I'm cutting out a size medium, and then I will adjust for any alterations once I try on the mock-up. As you can see, it is fairly big. Luckily, there are some fit alteration instructions, so we're going to follow those. The underbust fitting too low. So if the underbust is fitting too low, you can increase the seam allowance on the shoulders. So now it's fitting a lot nicer underbust. If you find that the dress is too hard to get over top of your shoulders, it says that you can add a zipper into the side of the garment, and the printed instructions have a link to the pattern if you need that help. If it's too loose on the underarm, waist, or hip, hips are looking fine. Waist feels okay, it's a little loose, but my fear is that if I make it any tighter, I won't be able to slip it on. Because it's very wide around here, I'm going to pinch in the seam allowance up to my waist, making sure that I can still take it on and off with ease. The instructions say that if you are having any gaping along the back here where it's flowing out too far, you can add in the waist ties to fix that problem. One alteration that I'm going to make to this is that I find that the cups are still a little bit too big for me. I'm going to see if I can add some more seam allowance to this front so that it doesn't gape as much, and that fits so much better. So now I'm going to try to take off the mock-up. If I can't get it up over my shoulders, then I'm going to move these pins a little bit farther out, and then I will add in a waist tie at the end. I retested my adjustments, and now that I like the fit, I will mark all the changes onto my paper pattern, and now I can move on to the final garment. Now for the instructions of making the Foxglove slip dress. Step 1 is cutting out the pieces. When cutting out a bias cut garment, do not cut on the fold. Instead, lay the pattern piece along the bias grain and mark the center line with chalk or a fabric marker. I will be cutting out one front skirt piece cut on the bias, as well as one back skirt piece cut on the bias. Not folding the fabric, but just flipping the pattern while laying flat. What I found was helpful was cutting the rough shape of the pieces and then going back over with the fold to precisely cut the shapes. After that, I cut 2 back bodice pieces on the bias, then 4 front bodice pieces on the bias so that I can have it double lined, 2 sleeve pieces that can be cut on the fold, and lastly 4 skirt flounce pieces. Once all the pieces are cut, we can move on to the next step. One small adjustment that I'm making to this pattern is I'm going to double line the front 2 pieces. So for the front bodice, instead of cutting 2, I cut 4, and I'm going to sew 2 of those layers together just with a straight stitch around all of the edges. Step 2 is preparing the bodice pieces. Individually overlock or zigzag stitch the center edge of the front bodice and back bodice. If you are using a sheer fabric or plan to use French seams, you can skip this step. I'll be using the serger to finish all the edges. Next, we're going to sew the front bodice pieces together along the center seam, as well as the back bodice pieces, making sure that we're laying good sides together. Step number 3 is gathering the front bodice. Sew 2 lines of parallel basting stitches 1/4 inch apart along the bottom edge of the front bodice, starting and stopping at the notches. Locate the center point of the front skirt and pin to the center seam of the front bodice, right sides together. Gently pull the 2 bobbin threads on each side, gathering the underbust until it matches the length of the waist yoke. Pin well and stitch the gathers down using a medium length straight stitch. Step number 4, attaching the front bodice. I found this to be the most finicky part of the whole process, so just go slow. Things may not lay flat while you're sewing, but once you iron everything down, it will relax. We're going to locate the notch points on the bodice and clip into the seam allowance, stopping just before you hit the stitch line. We're going to rotate the vertical leg of the bodice to match the vertical leg of the skirt tab. Opening up the notch you just made, hand baste them together. Now we're going to clip into the corner of the skirt using this notch to rotate the horizontal top of the skirt to match the horizontal bottom of the bodice. Hand baste this in place as well. Using a narrow zigzag stitch to preserve stretch, machine stitch across all the basting stitches. This can be the most difficult part, so just sew slowly and adjust your fabric as you go. Once finished, the front of your dress should look like this. Remove the basting stitches and press the seam allowances down towards the bottom of the skirt and iron well. Bias cut edges will not fray much, but if you wish to finish your seams, the pattern recommends overlocking or using a zigzag stitch. Step number 5, attaching the back bodice. Sew 2 lines of parallel basting stitches 1/4 inch apart along the bottom edge of the back bodice. Stopping at the center line, don't forget to leave long thread tails on each end. Locate the center point on the back skirt and pin it to the center seam of the back bodice, right sides together. Gently pull the 2 bobbin threads on each side, gathering the back bodice to match the length of the back skirt waistline. Pin well and stitch the gathers down using a medium zigzag stitch. Then you can remove the basting stitches and press the seams down towards the skirt. Step 6, attaching the front and back. You should now have a complete front slip and back slip that looks something like this. Pin the front and back of your slip right sides together along the side seams and shoulder seams. Sew with a basting stitch along the pin lines. Step 6 is all the fitting alterations that we have gone through before, so we will move on to step 7, which is the sleeves. Fold each sleeve piece in half, wrong sides together at the center notch. Close the underarm with a French seam. French seam instructions are really simple. With wrong sides together, you sew your seam 1/4 inch away from the edge. After that, you'll trim 1/8 inch of seam allowance, then you'll press the seam open, then close with right sides together, and then you'll sew 1/4 inch away from the original seam. I'm going to leave the sleeve edges unfinished. I just have some ideas that I want to do once the dress is fully done, so we're going to attach the sleeves without finishing the edges. Step 8, attaching the sleeves. Sew 2 lines of parallel basting stitches 1/4 inch apart from the notch to notch on the upper section of the armhole. Don't forget to leave long thread tails on each end. Match the sleeve seam at the side seam of the dress and pin right sides together. Pin the top notch of the sleeve to the shoulder seam of the dress. Gently pull 2 bobbin threads on each side, slightly gathering the sleeve to fit the armhole as needed. Pin well and sew. Press the seam allowance inward so it's underneath the shoulder strap and top stitch 1/4 inch from the sleeve seam to hold it in place. Repeat for the other sleeve. Step 9, attaching the skirt flounces. Similar to step 4, we'll be attaching the convex curves to the concave ones in step 9. The corners are not as sharp, so it is much easier, but it will still be laying flat while you are sewing. Sew slowly and adjust the fabric as you need to by lifting the presser foot and rotating while the needle is in the fabric. Pin the center of one flounce piece to the center of the front skirt, right sides together. Then continue pinning along the edge, making sure that you match the corners together. Sew along the pin lines, making sure to rotate the fabric at the corners. Then press the seam allowance down. Repeat your next flounce piece, this time aligning the center point with the side seam. Pin as you did before, but continue the pins down the flounce legs to attach it to the first flounce. Add the next 2 flounces the same way as you did the last until all 4 are attached. Press your seams down. To emphasize the design lines of the flounces, you can top stitch the seam allowance in place. Step 10. Create a bias tape facing for the neckline using whatever method you prefer. Now that the dress is fully assembled, I just have some last minute finishes that I want to add. So originally I just wanted to make the dress just as it was. It's a really pretty dress, as I've seen from other people making it. It'd be really good to wear to like a wedding or something, but I don't have many weddings that I go to, and I kind of have the feeling that I want to be this like gothic swamp witch. So we're gonna be distressing this dress. I make costumes and more theatrical pieces for dance. I did a lot of distressing of fabric, and I just really loved having really textural pieces. I think it'd just be really cool to add some of those pieces to this dress. So what I'm planning on is just roughing up all of the edges of the sleeves as well as the bottom while I hem it, and then adding in strips and pieces of fabric to the points of the skirt tiers, so that way there is more texture and more volume. And I think that's gonna be really cool. So now that the dress is fully done, I'm gonna spend the night doing that, and then I'll show you what it looks like in the morning. I had a lot of fun making this pattern and also destroying it too. I got a comment on one of my videos asking me to make this pattern just to kind of demonstrate all the techniques used in it, because I know that the flounces and some of the shaping of the bodice can be a little bit tricky to kind of understand just from reading the instructions. But if you have any other patterns that you'd like for me to try out, you can leave them in the comments below. I had so much with this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!